Hello and welcome everybody to the LuAnn Academy teleconference call on essential oils and your practice. My name is LuAnn Cibik and I am super delighted to be with you all today. And whether you are here live or you are listening in on time travel means, we're just delighted to have you here. I thought I would talk about the LuAnn Academy for just a couple moments because probably a lot of you are going, what the heck? I'm a Red Lotus practitioner. I'm an interior alignment practitioner. I'm a soul coach. What's this LuAnn Academy stuff? Well, LuAnn Academy is a term that Denise and I came up with to just refer to all of the different types of certification programs that she's created and all the amazing graduates that she has. And, you know, we work and there's lovely teams of volunteers in each one of these organizations: interior alignment, soul coaching, elemental space clearing, clutter clearing, that work behind the scenes in support of the students. So whether they are mentors for the various programs or they are the team that work on websites and newsletters and social media, there's teams that have been working separately in all these different realms. But we felt like there's so many things that are cross-informational, right, that could benefit everybody. So why would we want to only have, soul coaches get access to some great marketing information and not share it with everybody that might benefit from it, who's a part of this wonderful community and family? Because I do think of it as a wonderful big family. Part of that is because in every certification that Denise has created, it has to do with coming from the heart and being so client-centered and from a spirit of generosity, kindness, compassion. And I think that makes us all really special in the kind of services that we offer our clients. We come with a lot of expertise, but we come with a lot of compassion and non-judgment. And so from that standpoint, that's why I feel this is an amazing family. We all have different tools and techniques to work with clients. And that's an amazing thing because not everybody might need a space clearing, but somebody might really want to have an oracle card reading. Or they might want to have a ceremony to create a special event in their life that's going on, a new career or an ending of one. So, all of those things, all of these different certifications offer their own unique benefits to clients. In these combined teleconferences, we're going to offer topics that are something that everybody can use within our family. I was really excited last year when we had our in-person conference in Orlando that we had one whole day that was kind of the LuAnn Academy Family Day that was really focused on how to improve your life as a practitioner, because as we all know, we encounter really unique, special, energetic events when we work with clients. How do you best protect yourself or arm yourself or prepare yourself? That's a good word, prepare yourself for that. And I know our special guest today, she's going to be talking a little bit about how you can do that, but also from that self-improvement standpoint, but also we talked a lot about marketing. And in the upcoming months, we'll be talking about ways to craft some really special workshops and events, ways that you can increase your marketing presence. So all of those are topics that are going to come up. And yes, indeed, there will be another in-person event someday, but right now, teleconference is a way we can all get together. And so we don't want to hold on to this information until we can all get together in person. We want to offer it now. In case you're wondering who all is the LuAnn Academy family, well, I wrote it down because sometimes I forget. Because it's a long list. Denise has created a lot of certification programs over the years. And quite frankly, there's ones that are from a healing modality that she taught many, many years ago that if we find out how to contact those people, we will invite them in too. The more the merrier, right? But we have the interior alignment, feng shui, and space clearing practitioners, as well as elemental space clearing practitioners. We have our soul coaching practitioners. We have the LuAnn method of clutter clearing, which is a new certification program that Hay House launched, I think last year, And so they're maybe one of the newer branches of the family. Then we have soul coaching oracle card reading practitioners, gateway dreaming practitioners, red lotus practitioners. They're the newest branch of the family. And also past life certification practitioners or past life coaching practitioners. So those are all the groups that are part of the LuAnn Academy. We're also working on a new way for LuAnn Academy people to shine their light even brighter. And there's a new website out there. It's not done yet, so keep that in mind. But if you want to check it out, it's theluannacademy.com, and it will be out there for both people looking for somebody to help them in these realms of feng shui, space clearing, coaching, oracle card reading, ceremony, blessings, past lives. And it's also the resource center for everyone here. So from there, the soul coaching only part of our website that we used to have tucked away hidden, you can get to it now from the LuAnn Academy site, password protected. So it allows us now, we're going to be able to put a lot more out there that is just for our practitioners, and also have a community for our practitioners, a resource there. And also it's going to turn into a bigger marketing platform. So we're going to be able to kind of cross market, and we've got a new Facebook fan page that is a part of this. So if you want to look us up on Facebook and start following that, it's the LuAnn Academy. And again, our purpose is to allow everybody who's one of the graduates of these programs to shine their light brighter. So I am super excited about somebody who's going to shine her light today. And that is my friend, Alishia Alibhai. And I had the honor and privilege of meeting her at Soul Coaching Teacher Training. And I think that was the first time we met in person. I think we communicated prior to that. But she and I, so we're both soul coaching practitioners. That's something we have in common. But here's a little fact about, I think, why we have this special connection. Not a lot of people have bunny rabbits as pets. But Alishia had a wonderful bunny named Chester. I had a wonderful bunny named Jet. And when you have a bunny as a pet, you know how super awesome they are. And anyway, bunnies make the best pets, I'll just say. Indoor snuggle bunny pets. So we had that initial connection. But it's also, she loves a lot of things I love. She loves essential oils. And I've been passionate about them a long time. In every one of our LuAnn Academy certifications, there's an aspect of how you can use essential oils. And so Alishia is an expert on essential oils, and I'm really, really delighted that she's here today. So let me unmute her. And Alishia, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, LuAnn. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I know that you are so knowledgeable on essential oils, but part of it is because you are such, call it a plant geek, right? I mean, you love essential oils, you love plants, you love all things in that realm green. And I asked her ahead of time if she'd be willing to share where she lived. This is her home, okay? And imagine if somebody asked you during a teleconference, like, show everybody your house. But she said yes, because I want you to see all the friends in her apartment who are listening to this teleconference. So go ahead, Alishia, show them your friends.
Okay, so I got the ones behind me, and then there's really plants everywhere. So they just continue to go all the way around. They're everywhere. You can see. And so I actually have 80 some plants in this condo that I live in. I'm a plant addict. I love plants. They're so healing, and we'll get into more about the essential oils of the plants, but even just the plants, in addition to the, using the oils, even just having plants in your home are so healing. It's so great for space clearing and feng shui. So that's a snippet of my home. So that's what I'm looking at, is green everywhere.
I love that you have your plants there cheering you on as you talk about essential oils. And you're right. Plants themselves are fabulous as a feng shui enhancement, adjustment to a space to bring a life force energy. And I know as a longtime feng shui practitioner that a lot of people will say, I can't grow a plant. I'm no good with plants. I just kill plants. So essential oils is a way that you can bring that plant life force energy into a space without the plant. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, Alishia. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what an essential oil is?
Sounds great, LuAnn. So yeah, that's a really good starting place. So an essential oil, so essential oils are aromatic liquids. So when you look at like an essential oil bottle, it's a liquid inside and it's aromatic. So it has a scent to it. An essential oil is the natural defense mechanism of a plant. So when you actually look at a plant and you think, wow, that plant is so healthy, or it's surviving, it's thriving, and even plants outside, what helps a plant to survive and thrive is the essential oil. So the essential oil it's the lifeblood of the plant. So essential oils can be distilled from shrubs, flowers, tree roots, bushes, fruits, rinds, resins, herbs. So the essential oil can really come from a wide range of different kinds of plants and even fruits, right? Because we have like lemon essential oil or orange essential oil. So because the essential oil is that lifeblood or that defense mechanism of the plant, it carries a vibration. And that's why when we have essential oils that are steam distilled, and we buy them in little bottles like this, that's why they can be so beneficial to us for not only supporting our emotions, our mind, our body, but also creating a beautiful energy in our space, because the oil carries its own vibration, and different oils carry different vibrations. So they and these vibrations can actually be measured. There's machines which everyday people usually don't have because they're really expensive. You find them in some essential oil companies have invested in those kinds of machines, and you can measure the frequency of the oil. And because the different oils have different frequencies, that's why different oils will help in different ways. So for example, and LuAnn and I will get into this in more detail, there's particular oils that are really great for helping a client move through an energetic block. And then, there's a different oil you might use, for example, to, help clear the air in a space, or some rooms, maybe you walk into a house and the air is like really thick and heavy. You can use an oil to clear that. And that might be a different oil than the one for clearing an energetic block on a body. So the reason different oils do different things, like I mentioned, is because they carry a different vibration. And the reason they carry a vibration is because essential oils are the lifeblood or life force of living plants. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, why essential oils work and how they work. And know that in humans, essential oils can support our beings and our bodies on so many different levels. So, they can support our, like I mentioned, our emotional system. They can support our mind and help with focus and clarity. They can also support too on a more physical level, like supporting, for example, the respiratory system, or supporting the immune system. So oils can help us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then our space as well. So they help on so many different levels. And it can even start as something as simple as helping us to relax, right? How many of us can relate to feeling stress, or your clients feeling stress? Or it might not be what they come in and tell you. They might come in and say, oh, I'm struggling with this or dealing with this. But if you boil it down, could be really, bottom line, stress, right? For example. So there's oils that can help with that can help to help to relieve people's stress and anxiety. So LuAnn, does that kind of answer what are essential oils?
It does. And I will say that a long time ago, when I first got excited about essential oils, and this was a long time, this was before the internet, a long time ago, right? So I made a bunch of mistakes. And my mistakes were, I love the concept of essential oils. I read about them, but I was out there looking for them. And there was a lot of things that I purchased that actually were not essential oils. So I learned the hard way that something called a perfume oil is not an essential oil. That something that might say 100% essential oils doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% of the essential oil you think you're buying. It could be a carrier oil, which I'm sure Alishia will talk about in a moment, and then a little bit of the oil you thought you were buying. And part of it was I didn't understand how essential oils were made. I didn't really I hadn't researched the process at that point. So Alishia, could you share a little bit with people about how essential oils are made, and just like, it amazes me, like just how much plant material it takes to make one of those little tiny bottles.
Yeah. And, I just want to really take a moment though, LuAnn, you brought up a really, really good point about, there being, a lot of perfume oils out there. And I just want to highlight that because that's something that even I didn't know at first. And I was just buying my essential oils just from the store. And so I really want to highlight the fact that an essential oil bottle, the label is not the best way to know about the quality. And the reason for that is because there's actually no regulating body for the essential oil industry. So that means companies can write whatever they want on the bottle. So for example, they can write 100% pure if at least 4% of what's in that bottle is pure. So I want you guys to think about that. They can write 100% pure on the bottle if at least 4% of what's in the bottle is pure. That means 96% can be other stuff. And if you look at some of the other stuff, so tests have shown that some companies will add things like chemicals, alcohols, different kinds of solvents, perfumes, synthetics. So please remember though that if you're using an oil that isn't pure, that has this other stuff added to it, it lowers the vibration of the oil or completely gets rid of it so that it loses its ability to help you, in your practice. Because think about it, if you're now, putting something that on, smelling something or diffusing something that is, 96% alcohol or do you know that some essential oils have been found to have fertilizers in them? It's really scary and it's really unfortunate, but this is why it's really good to learn and do your research. But I just wanted to really emphasize that because LuAnn, you brought up a really powerful point. Not all essential oils are created equally. In fact, there's very few on the market that are of a quality that have, the best healing properties for using in our practices and using in our homes for ourselves and our families. So you really need to be a smart consumer about essential oils and which ones you're using. Because also remember too that essential oils, when you apply it, let's say you just smell it from the bottle or you put it in a diffuser or you put it on your skin, those oils reach your organs in seconds. And then I'm always into like the research and the background information because of my psychology background. So I always like to see like that kind of information and research. And I was really surprised to find how quickly oils reach our organs. But that's also why they can help us so quickly and so powerfully. But then we need to make sure we're using really high quality essential oils. So please don't make the mistake of trusting a label, and please do your research. So people will often say, well, okay, well, if I can't trust the label, then how do I know? Like, what do I do, Alishia? What do I do? So the easiest thing is to just research the name on the bottle and go to the website. Google is like a powerhouse of information. Just go to the company's website and they should be able to show you how they get these essential oils. And that kind of leads into the question LuAnn asked is, well, how do you get essential oils? When you go to a company's website, they should show you, and it should be very transparent, where they get the oils from, where are the farms located that these plants are grown on. You'll notice most oil companies won't tell you that because they don't have farms. Or they are buying their oils from another company, from another company, from another company. Like it's kind of a chain link of people. And unfortunately, that's where the quality is lost because along the way, everybody wants to, add a bit of this or add a bit of this to make more so that they can sell more and make more money. It's really unfortunate, but we need to be good consumers about what we're using. So the best way to extract essential oils from plants is a steam distillation process. That's the best way to preserve the vibration and the quality of the essential oil. And there are steam distillation like their machines, but know that the steam distillation process, actually it even just starts with, the harvesting of the plants. Like that's just, it's not the same across the board. And this was just really eye-opening for me, that you can't just harvest all these different plants at the same time, because different plants are going to be ready during different seasons. Different plants have their prime growth during different seasons. And then even then, when you harvest that plant and you put it into the steam distillation machine, every different plant, so like lavender versus spruce versus pine versus, whatever other plants you have, they take different amounts of time and different amounts of the actual plant matter in that steam distillation machine to get the same quality of oil. So, for example, there's some flowers that only grow certain times of the year. So it's very limited, and then you can only harvest them during a certain time of day to get the maximum amount of essential oil. And then some of them you need pounds and pounds and pounds of that plant to get, sometimes this much oil. And then there's some plants, which are more common, like lavender, where you can get tons of essential oil out of those lavender plants. So, and just as a side note, that's actually another easy way to have an idea of the quality of your essential oil. If it doesn't cost you very much, or if you get a really big bottle of it, it's most likely not a quality oil. It's probably filled with other stuff, because as you can see, the process of extracting oils is very expensive, and it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of care. It's a science to it. There's a science to the timing. There's a science to the amount of plant matter and how much oil can come from it. And I just love how it's all about timing, right? Nature's all about timing. Everything is about divine right timing, and essential oils are no different. So I just love it. There's other ways to extract oils as well. So, for example, fruits are cold pressed. So like lemons and oranges and grapefruits, those are not steam distilled because they're fruits, they're cold pressed. Also, there's a different process for resins like frankincense. So there's certain different processes for oil extraction depending on the type of plant, but in general, most are steam distilled. And that's what keeps the vibrational quality of the oil. So it's quite a lengthy process. And also too, depending on where you're getting your oils from, those companies should have testing methods, because even when the oil is extracted in the steam distillation process, it's still, the quality of it is still not always guaranteed in terms of the potency of the oil. So it could be the case where, let's say they're steam distilling lavender, and the lavender that comes out, it should be tested. Does it have the right amount of properties to help support us, with relaxation, because that's what most people use lavender for. So even a batch of oil that is steam distilled properly should still be tested to make sure that it does what it's intended to do, and that it has the right amount of properties to get the desired effects. So there's a huge process that goes into getting, this little bottle of essential oil. And learning that just made me so grateful. So the best thing is to do your research. If you have any oils at home, I always tell people, always as disclaimers when I teach this class, please go and do research if you already have any essential oils at home, to see what, how those oils are made, where they come from, what kind of tests are done on them. And then that way you can make your decision from there as to whether it's something you want to use on your body or diffuse. And please remember, oils reach your organs in seconds. So if it isn't something high quality, you probably don't even want to be smelling it from the bottle, because the oil enters your body through your olfactory system, through your skin, right? One of my favorite phrases I learned was, your skin is a carrier, not a barrier. So some people think, oh yeah, I'm just putting it on my skin. I'm just spraying perfume on my skin. But remember, your skin is not a barrier. It's a carrier. It soaks it all in, and it goes to all your organs. So please consider switching to, just in general, think about what you're putting on your skin and switch to cleaner products. Make sure that they're really pure. I get so excited and so passionate about this stuff.
I love it. And I do too. I mean, it took me a while to realize that, because I'm the big bargain shopper. Like, I love a good deal. And so that's why I made a lot of mistakes at first. Like you said, if it doesn't cost a lot, it's probably not pure. I was buying a lot of things that were a good deal. And then I found out, no, it's not essential oil. What really helped me to understand why it can be so different is if we think of wine, right? And probably a few people here like to have a glass of wine. And we all understand that every year the wine can be different, and that because of how much sunlight there was, how much rain there was, what was going on with the soil, if that plant was in the sun or the shade. You might have two identical plants next to each other that experienced a little bit of conditions. And so as the grapes were picked, they have a little bit different chemical consistency when you get down to it. And so when each year the batch of wine can be different based on all of those qualities. Well, guess what? Essential oil is the same thing, just as Alishia said. It can be the lavender grown in a field one year, the next year when they're growing it and processing it could have a different chemical constituency, if that's the right word, composition that doesn't actually have all the same components to it. So what a lot of essential oil companies will do is they will measure those chemical compounds. And some of them will save some of their lavender from the year before and integrate it with the current year to kind of create more consistency. Just like distilleries do with brews and wines from year to year to create a consistency. So again, it's a plant, it's a living thing. It's not computer generated, right? So it's not exactly the same year to year. So it's a good thing to know that there can be really small growers of really exquisite essential oils, but kind of every year is a different thing, right? Every year is a different batch. It can smell a little different. It can have a different quality to it. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that. It's very natural to the plant, but it's just something to understand, which when I was first starting, I didn't understand that. Alishia, can you tell us a little bit more about, and you've touched on different ways to use them, and thinking about what our practitioners are doing. They're preparing themselves to work with clients. They're maybe having an office space where they're working with clients, or they might be recommending some things for the client's home. Can you talk about how we can use essential oils other than just sniffing them and maybe dabbing some on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the easiest, so I'll start with just the simplest ways are, you or a client, right? So as LuAnn mentioned, smelling it from the bottle or diffusing it in a diffuser. So those are the simplest ways. Just one thing I want to note, if you are using a diffuser, and diffusers are what kind of, it's like, I don't want to use the word humidifier because it's different, but it spreads the oil into the air. It mists it into the air. Just one caution, you don't want to use something that heats the oil. So you don't want to use like a candle diffuser or anything with a flame. They should be ultrasonic so that they're spreading the oil through vibration rather than through heat. Because if you heat the oil, then you lose the healing properties or the beneficial properties, the vibrational properties of the oil. So it must not be anything that heats the oil. I just want to, a lot of people aren't aware of that, and they'll use like a candle burner. But unfortunately, heat shifts the oil's properties. So please be aware of that. I mean, and if you like using a heat burner, you can, but just know that you're losing the healing and vibrational properties of the oil. So some really, other really simple ways, what I like to do is create little spritzers. So little glass spritzers, I fill them with water and I put some of the oil in there, and then I basically, and LuAnn's got one there so that she can show you, and you basically spritz it. And so you can spritz it in the air before the client arrives, or while you're doing work with the client. You can use it during the session. And of course, the specific oil you would use, I would always have a conversation with the client to see why they're, to have an idea of why they're there, what we're doing, what we're working on. And then you can use an oil, in accordance with what they're looking for. But you can spritz it on yourself. You can spritz it on the client. You can spritz it in the air. The one LuAnn has is those. You want to make sure it's a glass bottle, so that's, or a really good, if you're using, I prefer glass, but if you're using a plastic bottle, make sure it's a really good plastic, because if the oils are pure, they can eat the plastic, especially if you're using citrus oils. So just something to be aware of. I have this little one that I carry in my purse. So it actually looks like lipstick. But it's a spritzer. And so all I do is I fill it with water. I need to refill it, as you can see, and oils. And then, so right before I go into a session, this is, I can just spritz it, and it can help with grounding. It can help with purifying.
Can you talk for a moment, Alishia, about how much oil you might put? So this is the bottle that I was holding up, and it's a 4-ounce bottle. And I started with spring water, okay? And then in a bottle this size, I probably don't put more than 20 drops of oil.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a couple different oils, or I might use a blend, but it's not like you're filling this bottle with oil. There's very little essential oil because it's really powerful.
Right. And that's a good point, especially if you're using, 100% pure therapeutic grade oils. I definitely wouldn't do more than 20 drops of whatever, oil or blend that you want to use. And that's a 4-ounce bottle. So, and you know what, play around with it. If you're not sure, start with less oil and then shake it, spritz it, see how that smells, how that feels. And if you feel like, okay, it needs to be stronger, I can't really feel it or smell it, then add more oil. So that's usually what I do, is I'll play around with it. Because the other thing you have to remember is different oils have different strengths of scent. So for example, an oil like lavender, people find it very easy to smell, versus there's another oil that I'll use. It's called Copaiba. And you know what? I'll sometimes open the bottle and people will say they can't smell it. Like, it's so subtle. So it depends on which oil you're using, and you may need a little bit more drops, or you may need a lot less. LuAnn, does that kind of I got excitedly sidetracked. We were talking about different ways to use.
When we start touching the oils, we go, whoo! Okay. Yeah. You brought up a really good point about plastic bottles. And for the most part, I also use glass all the time, except for those people who do space clearing or are bringing essential oils in as a wood energy aspect in some feng shui, and they want to gift a client with something. I have used plastic bottles if they have kids and I'm concerned that they might break the glass bottle. So if you're going to ever be doing a space clearing or working with bringing an essential oil into a place where kids might be the ones spritzing it, I tend to do the plastic bottle just for safety. And as Alishia said, just research around, find one that isn't going to be corroded by the oils. And there's a lot of different companies out there. And here's my thing is I always buy one and I test it myself, right? I see what it does. I put stuff in it. I try it. Yeah. And then I know. Sometimes I learn through bad experiences, but that's how I learn. So Alishia, can you tell us, okay, so you were talking about ways we could use it. So we can diffuse it, and you talked about not using heat, which is a really excellent point. Talked about sprays. How else can we use it?
And I know we'll get into like really specific ways in terms of, using them in our sessions with clients and space clearing. But those are my two most common, is aromatically, whether it's smelling it from the bottle, spritzing it in the air. It's also really powerful for you to take a drop in your own hand, to rub your hands together, which activates the oil even further, and smelling it in deeply and then wafting it through your aura. I love to do that a lot, because the vibration of the oil will then join with the vibration of your aura to have whatever effect you intend, or whatever effect based on the oil you've chosen. So I love to place oils in my aura. And then of course, diffusing is really one of the simplest ways, where, as we mentioned, using something that's going to spread the oils through vibration, but that way everybody in the space benefits. The only thing some people are really sensitive to smells. And I just want to say that a lot of times the reasons that people are sensitive, it's because of the perfumes and chemicals. So it's a good idea to ask, so if you're going into a client's home, or if they're coming to your space, it is a good idea to ask. But I will just say, as a side note, personally, ever since I started using the highest quality of essential oils that I could find. I have never had anybody have an issue. Though before, when I was using incense, because I love incense, was using incense and things like that. And I was using, the cheaper oils, because like LuAnn, I didn't know either. That's when I had people complain. Oh, I'm getting a headache, or, oh, that's really strong. But it was probably, the chemicals, the synthetics, and the perfumes. That's what they were, that's what was resulting in that sensitivity. So, but I'll still ask. It's still a good idea to ask, do you mind if I use, some frankincense in this session? And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about, how to use them specifically in sessions. I use a lot of oils in, Reiki sessions, and, when I'm doing meditative work. So there's just so many ways. And so, but in a nutshell, the easiest ways are through the nose and topically. And then, also there's things we have to be cautious about, right?
Right.
You should not put an essential oil in your eyes or in your ears or in any other sensitive areas or mucous membranes. When the oils are this strong, they can rupture your eardrum. So if you're going to use oils around the ear area, always just on the lobe. Just like reflexology on the bottoms of your feet, your ears are a mirror of your entire body, your ear lobes. So rubbing an oil on your ear can be very powerful, but make sure you're not dropping an oil into your ear. That can be very damaging and dangerous. Also, getting an oil in your eye. Now, with the oils in the eyes, that's happened to many people by accident, right? You forget you just put an oil on and you go and you rub your eye, or you have an itchy eye. My niece did that the other day. She wanted to put an oil on her tummy, but she wanted to have it in her hand. So she rubbed it on her tummy. And then within seconds, I saw this and I was like, oh, wait for it. Now remember, and it took a moment, and then the screaming started because, and it was peppermint, right? So it's going to burn. But remember, it's not doing damage if it's a high quality oil, right? Because there's no perfumes or chemicals in it. It's just the oil burns. Peppermint is minty, right? So if you do...
Also, I was going to say, there's also some that are really highly caustic, and there's a term that's called neat with essential oils, right? And neat doesn't mean that you take the cap off neatly and put it down and you put one. Neat means that it should be an oil that's safe to use directly on your skin. And there's a short list of what oils are considered neat. Lavender's one, peppermint I don't think is one, but it depends. We have thicker skin in some places than others. And so what you do is you're going to want, if you want to put something on your skin, you might want to invest in what's called a carrier oil. And those are oils like jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, that has a little more viscosity to it. It's still a pure plant oil, right? You can still get pure jojoba oil, pure whatever carrier you choose. There's lots of different ones that have different properties. And put some drops of the one that you want the medicinal properties of in that, and then that dilutes it enough so that it's not as caustic. And if you do get it in your eyes, because I've done that, you can rinse your eyes out with milk, and that helps cut that terrible sensation of like I did an oops. So, at least Alishia, it was her niece that did it. I will tell you from experience, it really hurts. So always be really careful. If you're working with it on your hands, wash your hands before you rub your eyes. The other thing I was just going to add, Alishia, so when I was first working with essential oils, and my husband has allergies, and one day he came home from work and he was like, oh man, I'm just so itchy today. And I was like, well, I have the perfect essential oil, and I will make you a bath, and it will make your skin feel so good. And he was like, okay. So I concocted a beautiful bath for him, and I put my essential oil in, and studied my book, and my book said, yes, this is the oil. I did everything right, except I forgot to ask him, what are you allergic to? And what I put in his bath was exactly what he was allergic to. He got in, and within like 5 minutes, he was like, what did you do to me? What is going on? He was flared up really bad. And that's because even though medicinally that essential oil, and it was a high quality essential oil, medicinally it should have helped, he was allergic to it. So I learned, always ask my clients, are you allergic to any of these plants? Because if they have an actual allergy to a certain plant, I am not going to use that essential oil, even if it's a super pure one. Okay, so those are some more life learnings from LuAnn. And Alishia, can you talk a little bit more also about precautions around animals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So essential oils, and so animals are like a whole other kind of category when we're talking about essential oils, because they're so sensitive and they're so small. I mean, if you take, LuAnn and I both, we're rabbit lovers. Remember, a bunny is a lot smaller than the human body. It also metabolizes essential oils differently. Also, if you think about a dog can find drugs in an airport. So I want you to think about, something, if you went and put an oil, here, smell this, you can actually create a lifelong aversion to an animal that isn't ready for the potency of an essential oil. So you do want to be really cautious when it comes to using oils with animals, or even using oils around animals. So, if you have animals in your home, or you go to a client's home who has animals, please do your research when it comes to essential oils. There are some oils that you shouldn't use with animals. And that's something that, it's like oils and animals is like a whole other class. And there's great books and great resources on using oils safely with your animals. One of the biggest things that I stress is start little, start gentle when it comes with oils. Let your animal come to you with the oils or to the space. Never keep them in an enclosed room with a diffuser where they can't move away if it's too strong. Never put an oil directly into their fur. It's just too much. Never put oils on their pads or their paws, and especially meat, even then. But I just use caution with animals and do your research. And it's just like children and babies too. When you're using oils with children and babies, dilute them with a carrier. So animals and children, you want to be a little bit more careful. The other thing I just wanted to add, when, for example, the example I gave you with my niece where she wanted peppermint on her tummy, the one thing that, and I'm glad LuAnn mentioned it, that I forgot to mention is, so what my sister will usually do is use some coconut oil and rub it. But my niece wants to do everything on her own now. She's at that age, right? Which is why she wanted to put the peppermint. But please know that with little children, it's good to dilute. And coconut oil is a really easy carrier oil that most people have in their kitchen. I like to use an organic coconut oil, and it is hard, but when you have it in your hands for a couple seconds, it becomes kind of liquidy and soft, and then you can put that in the area and then apply the oil on top, or you can mix it first, like in a container, and then apply the diluted carrier with essential oil solution. But so please dilute. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to say that with children. And when in doubt, the best place to apply an oil to a child is the bottoms of the feet. So if they do have, because children have they can have really delicate, sensitive skin, and even us adults, like if you have sensitive skin, the best place to apply an oil then is, just in your hands, keep it in your hands then, or the bottoms of the feet. And the bottoms of the feet is really powerful because that's where we have the most number of pores, and the largest pores compared to the rest of our entire body. So when in doubt. But going back, I just wanted to make sure I said that before I forgot. But going back to the pets, LuAnn, was there anything else you wanted to add about pets?
It did, and kind of specifically, well, it can apply to all of us in our own homes, because I know I've been on a kick of like using really natural products to clean in my home. And sometimes I will be the little alchemist and I'll make mine, and sometimes I will just go buy them because that's fun too. But what I learned along the way is that I would add essential oils for their antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial properties, which is great, and also for the scent. And also, like I was making my cleaning alchemy space clearing, like I wasn't just cleaning, I was clearing and infusing the space by using the oil, which is great. Except what you have to be really careful of is if you're doing a floor cleaner, and I have dogs and cats and have bunny, and if you have too much essential oil in the cleaner. If you're only using a couple drops, you're going to be fine. But I know sometimes people get excited. They think more is better. Like, oh, I love lemon, and so we're going to make it super wonderfully clean and crisp and clear and energetic. So I'm going to put the whole bottle of lemon in here. And then what happens is that little bit of that stays on the floor, and then your animals walk on it, and then your kitty cat cleans herself, and she is taking in these oils directly. So you never want to overload your animal systems. I mean, it truly can kill them if they are overdosed with it. I had a friend who used lavender oil a lot to help with flea control because it's wonderful to get rid of fleas, but she put too much on a kitty one time and it went into shock. So be very, very, very careful with your animals. I know they're my babies, and that's why it's made me super, super cautious. So if you're creating your own cleaning mixtures, right, just be really cautious about remembering how powerful they are, using them for the energetic aspect of it, but on surfaces where it might stick and creatures might walk, be really careful. Okay, and I'm looking at the time. We got lots of things to discuss. So, okay, Alishia, I'm going to ask you, maybe if we could jump into using oils with clients, like grounding, space energy work, chakra balancing, accessing past lives, because I don't hear about that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so first with grounding, let's start with grounding because that's where a lot of us need to start for ourselves, walking in as the practitioner, but also for our clients. A lot of them, grounding is just really a helpful place to start. For all of you who have had the pleasure of working, with Denise, you'll notice she always starts with a guided meditation or guided visualization because it helps to ground us. So some of my favorite oils for grounding are the tree oils. So pine, spruce, what else? Any kind of fir, like balsam fir. Those are all it's the easiest go-to. If it's some sort of tree, an essential oil distilled from a tree, it's amazing for grounding. So that's my favorite for grounding, and just really simple. Anything tree oil is going to be grounding. Easiest thing, apply to the bottoms of your feet or the base of your spine. Remember, if you have sensitive skin, dilute it with a carrier, right? And you can have the client do the same with you. So you guys can do it together, or you can do it before you walk into their home. Remember, you don't always know what kind of energy you're walking into when you're going to a client's home. So it's really powerful to ground and protect yourself first. So grounding, any tree oil. For protecting, there's a few different oils you can go to. I mean, play around with what works well. I like to use frankincense a lot. I find that one is really nice, protective, high vibration oil. I use a lot of blends as well. So there's a blend that I like. It's a blend of many different oils. I can always share that information with you guys. It's a long list of oils. I can share it after, so just reach out to me. But that blend of oils actually vibrates and resonates with every chakra, and I find that's really protective. I like to use that one. There's another blend I use that it has a more kind of it has an angelic vibration to it, I find, and I find that's really kind of protective. So I like blends more so for protection. But if you're looking for like a single oil, frankincense is great. Rose essential oil is really great. I'm just looking at the ones that I carry here in my purse. So those are there's also sacred frankincense. I like to use that one as well, which is different from frankincense. So that's for the grounding. When it comes to space clearing, right, whether you do space clearing work or you seek clients for other kinds of one-on-one sessions, maybe you take people on soul journeys, maybe you just want to space clear your own home or your own office after having clients and people come through it. Some essential oils that are really great for space clearing are the citrus oils. They're very cleansing and they're very uplifting. So lemon, orange, grapefruit, tangerine, those are really great for clearing out the space, and you can blend them with other oils that you like. So I like to use ylang ylang, patchouli. So you can make, play around with mixing. If you guys want blends, recipes, I can always send you that information. But citrus oils are really great for kind of clearing, and they really uplift a space, and they leave it kind of like that sparkling energy fresh, right? Which is, if you think about it, why a lot of cleaners are scented with lemon. Unfortunately, that's like synthetic scent. But, that's kind of, lemon is used in a lot of, cleansing type things. So also too, another thing that I really kind of get really excited about is, energetic blocks that you might feel in a room. Maybe there's some stuck energy in a room or a space, or stuck energy in a client. Like maybe there's something just feels stuck, maybe in one of their chakras, or maybe something is just, they in general just tell you, I feel stuck. Oils are really great for helping to move through those energetic and emotional blocks. And there's different oils that you can, the one thing that I always tell people is, remember, each person has a different body chemistry, right? Each of us here on this call, we have different body chemistries. So because of that, different oils are going to work in different ways for different people, right? So an oil that works really great for me might work differently for LuAnn. It might help her in a different way. It doesn't mean, so, if I were to use an oil to move through an energetic or spiritual block, and then LuAnn uses that same oil, but let's say it just helps her relax. It doesn't mean oils don't work for LuAnn. It just means maybe there's a different one that will work better for moving through that block. So always play around with oils. And just kind of, that's the biggest thing. That's how I learned along the way. But when it comes to blocks, I will have to say my go-to is frankincense. I also really like some of the tree oils for moving through blocks. I do also like to use, I find rose, because it has such a high vibration, I find it has such a beautiful vibration, but I know that's helped some of my clients where, like the frankincense, they liked it, but it's like the rose kind of helped them move through stuff. And then again, I'll also use them in spaces. I'll go and spritz the corners in a room. Like I'll make a glass spritzer of water and a blend of oils. And I'll just go and spritz the corners. Remember, stagnant energy will often pool in the corners of a room. So it's a good place to kind of make sure that you're getting the essential oil vibrations in those corners. So when it comes to, clearing out, play around with it. But, make spritzers, use your diffuser. When I'm doing, because I also practice energy work, and I imagine many of you, either if it's on yourself or do this work for other people, it can be really powerful to have a drop of oil in your own palms. Of course, ask your client first, make sure it's nothing that they're allergic to. And then you can actually then do the energy work. So I practice Reiki, but you can do whatever energy work with that oil in your palm. And the beauty of that is that the oil and the energy amplify each other. So the energy amplifies the healing benefits of the oil, and the healing benefits of the oil amplify the energy. So it can make such a powerful combination. I love it, but I will always ask the client first before I do Reiki for them, are you okay with essential oils? And, I always give them a couple to choose from. Would you like me to use this one or this one? And I find the sessions are that much more powerful. I get so excited about using oils in sessions because they were, when I discovered it, it took my practice, from here, it amped it up to another level. So, and to a level that, I wasn't able to provide that healing benefit of the oils before because I wasn't using them. So it adds to what you're already able to do in such a beautiful way. In terms of balancing, again, when it comes to balancing, I'll say this, because essential oils have such high vibrations, you really can't go wrong. So pretty much any essential oil will help with balancing. You will find that there's some that help you, more than others. So just kind of play around with them. LuAnn, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I love everything you said. And I guess what I want to add is you were talking about how it takes your practice to the next level. And in elemental space clearing, Denise talks a lot. Part of the aspect of that practice is incorporating essential oils into the space clearing practice. And everything you said, like putting them on your palm and then bringing them into your auric field so that you are kind of enveloped with the energy of that plant and its properties as you move through the space. But we talk about what's called the oversoul of the plant. It's like if you want to think of the guardian angel of all pine trees or the guardian angel of all lavender, right? You're invoking that being to be a part of the work that you're doing. And so let's say that you are with a client that's sensitive to something, or they say, oh, I'm sensitive to everything. I don't want you to use any essential oils. It doesn't mean you can't make it a part of what you're doing. You're just not going to take it out of the bottle, right? You could create a little intention altar for the work that you're doing with them and call upon the oversoul of that plant to be of assistance. So we all know we can invoke the realm of energy, and I would say bringing in your plant friends, your plant allies, totem friends as a part of the work you do. Essential oils are just like if you love your totem animal and you have a symbol of that, you could love your totem plants and bring in the essential oils to kind of call in that. So there's ways to bring all this. Alishia, we could talk about this for like 3 weeks. I know we could. And I'm looking at the time and we're just about done. I know you all probably have loads more questions, and you want to maybe reach out to Alishia to find out more. Alishia, how can people get in touch with you?
You can visit my website, which is lovemesomeoils.com. So easy, LOVEMESOMEOILS.com, or you can actually just send me a direct email. If there's any information that you want me to send you, information about blends or anything like that, my email is also really simple. It's just info@divinebliss.ca. So info@divinebliss.ca. I also have, I do a lot of online webinars for specific webinars that go into, using oils with your chakras, using oils in your Reiki practice, using oils with your clients. And those are all webinar styles. So for those of you that aren't in Calgary for my local workshops, you can always join in that way. So just let me know, and I can send you the information about those as well. And oils on past lives too. LuAnn, we have so much to talk about. So please reach out and I can send you more information. I will just say my top favorite oil for past lives is sandalwood, just as a side note for those of you that do past life work with your clients. Sandalwood and also eucalyptus. They're both really great. There's a whole list of them. But again, that is another webinar that I teach. So please reach out, connect with me, and I can give you more information on those. I'd love to. I get so passionate about sharing things I'm passionate about.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with everybody today. And I would encourage you, if essential oils, if you've listened to this and you're like, nah, I'm not that into essential oils, that's fine. You don't have to be. But if you got inspired and thought, I want to incorporate more of this, I would encourage you to do it like as a professional, right? Especially if you're going to interact with clients and use essential oils, you really want to know at a professional level what you're working with. And I would encourage you to reach out to Alishia to find out more or research more, so that you don't make a mistake like I've made some. Okay, but fortunately not with clients. But you don't want to do that with a client, right? And so just come at it from a professional standpoint and learn. It's better to understand, I say, 3 oils really well, like pick 3 that you really resonate with, get really high quality ones, than to think I'm going to buy 100 of something that I don't really know what each one of them does. That's my recommendation. I also want to point out that Alishia is a not only soul coaching practitioner and advanced practitioner and master practitioner, she's also a soul coaching trainer. And Alishia, you have a class coming up on soul coaching, right? You have a class coming up beginning of next year.
In January. Thank you, LuAnn. Yeah, in January, I'm going to be doing another soul coaching practitioner training. So if any of you are in the Calgary, Alberta, Canada area, that's where I'm from, that's where I'll be holding the class. So please connect with me and I can give you more information on the dates for that.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Alishia, and I look forward to chatting with you all next month. I'll be announcing what that wonderful teleconference is going to be about, and I look forward to seeing you all back, and bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.